Hello everyone, welcome back again to our channel Coders Arcade. So in this video guys, we will be starting and finishing off with the DevOps VTU Lab experiment number 3. Okay, so which is totally about Gradle, and here it is. If you see experiment number 3 part 1, you can see here I have broken it down into two parts. And let me open the syllabus for you as well, okay, so that you can also have a look at it. So we'll go to my desktop and let me open that syllabus. Yep, this is the syllabus. And let me just say Control F DevOps. Okay, you can see. Number 3, setting up a Gradle project, understanding build scripts, Groovy and Kotlin DSL, dependency management and task automation. Okay, so that's why you can see in my PDF. Let me close this folder. Okay, go back to the manual. And yeah, this is the manual. Part 1, working with Gradle, setting up a Gradle project, understanding build scripts, Groovy and Kotlin DSL. Okay, dependency management and task automation. Okay, so in the earlier one, we have learned about Maven, how it works. Every single thing in detail we have seen about Maven in the experiment number 2. Now this is experiment number 3, part 1, working with Gradle, setting up a Gradle project. Okay, so in this part 1, we will learn about the Groovy script. Okay, and guys, in the installation part in the previous one, I have already given you a detailed idea about what is Gradle, how it works, what is the Gradle build tool all about, and the differences between Maven and Gradle. We have talked about that. And if I go here and show you, Gradle notes is also given, guys. Just before the experiment, I've given the notes and documentation. You can see here everything about Gradle is given. You can go through it, try to understand. As I said, because we get lots of problems while installing and using all the libraries, jar files, etc. when we are doing it manually, that's why we use build tools, just like Maven and Gradle. Okay. In this experiment, we will be learning about the Gradle build tool. Okay. So this is it, the experiment number 3. Let's go and get going. Get started with it. Okay, and if you see carefully, let me go back to the topics. This says experiment number 3 part 1, and then we have the experiment number 2 part 2, that is our Gradle Kotlin DSL. Okay, this one will be learning using Java, the second one will be learning using Kotlin. Okay, the other programming language. Don't worry, if you are new to this also, I will guide you and keep it simple so that you can understand this. Okay, let's start with part number 1, which is our working with Gradle. Okay, so this is our experiment, part 3. Now, as I have said, build tools simplify our life, makes it very easy, and it helps in what? You can see, why use Gradle? Incremental builds, that means faster execution, and dependency management. It supports Maven also and Ivy also. Okay, and it can customize lots of tasks, and it supports multi-project support. That is very important. That's why it supports many programming languages. That is one advantage of Gradle. Some people say Gradle is faster and it is more preferable and efficient than Maven. I have found Maven to be good. It depends. Okay, if you have a choice of Gradle, you can use it. If you have a choice of Maven, you can use it. Okay, yes. So before starting with this, we have already seen how to install Gradle. All the steps are given in the manual as well. Guys, I'm following the manual only. You can follow this. I have shared the manual to each one of those who have actually filled the form in that video. Okay, in the manual video, if anyone has filled the form, they will have access to the manual. Okay, you can follow the manual. And after that, just go to your Windows and say CMD in the terminal and say Gradle space -v. You'll get the version. Okay, you can see 8.12.1 is the version that I'm using right now. You might get a little version, doesn't matter. As long as you are having Gradle installed, it's fine. Okay, my JDK version is 17.0. Okay, so that's it, is the prerequisite right now. And you should have an editor. I am using IntelliJ, you can use any one of them. Okay, so this is my IntelliJ. If I show you, okay, you can see this is my IntelliJ editor, and this is the Maven project that we created and finished off the experiment number 1. Sorry, the experiment number 2. Okay. Now we'll be going to the experiment number 3, part 1. Okay. And as you saw, Gradle space -v or -n version gives you the version. Let's create a Gradle project in IntelliJ IDEA. These are the steps. I'll follow the same steps. You can also follow. Okay. So let me just show you the structure, how it looks like. So I'll go to File, and I will keep it relevant like this. I will say DevOps VTU and Maven. This one will be DevOps VTU Gradle. New project. Sorry, new project. And this time I'll name it as DevOps VTU space Gradle. Okay, and the language is Java for the time being. Afterwards, the build system will be Gradle. Keep it Gradle. And see here, Gradle DSL. Initially, I will be using the Groovy DSL. Okay. See here, go to the manual and see this. Let me show you Groovy and Kotlin DSL, right? Guys, if you are not learning Kotlin also, it is okay. For the time being, in this experiment part number 1, we'll be learning with Groovy. Okay. After that, we'll go to Kotlin. So this one is one that we'll focus now. I'll go back to my editor, IntelliJ, and you can see Groovy is the one I'm selecting, not Kotlin. Groovy, this one. Language is Java and the build system is Gradle, and the Gradle DSL is Groovy. So DSL stands for Domain Specific Language. Okay, so I'll be using the Groovy script. In a while you will come to know about this. Don't worry about that. And fine. So what I will do, I'll just click on create. Okay. So what I'll do, this is the project that has been created. Okay, here it is. So let it build it and let's wait for it. So all fine. Everything is fine, successful, running. Okay. So as long as it is not loaded, don't do anything. And guys, this is the file that is very important for us. In the Maven project, if you go here, I'll show you. The pom.xml was a very important file for us for dependency management, everything. In this one, the build.gradle is a very important file that we'll be using. Okay, this is the file, build.gradle. You can see this file. This is a Groovy script that we'll be using right now. Okay. So let's see the project structure. So we have a Gradle folder, .gradle folder, and then we have .idea folder. Okay, and then this is one more Gradle wrapper folder. Okay, and we have Gradle wrapper properties, and then we have the source folder. This is our main thing. Inside source, we have main and Java and resources. Inside test, we have Java and resources. Okay, similar project structure like Maven, but with some catch. The catch is the build.gradle file. This is a different file. Okay, that we need to understand. Okay, we'll understand that gradually. Fine, let's go back to the manual and let's see. Project created, and see, it was something like this. Set the group ID to com.example if you want, no problem. Otherwise, normally, let's go back and see in the Gradle file, this one, sorry. We have org.example and everything like this. And these are the things you don't have to worry about any of these guys right now. We'll talk and discuss about all of them. Okay. So let's go back again to the manual and try to understand this. Finished and understanding the project structure. As I said, we have SRC main Java resources, SRC test Java resources. Okay. So now the second thing is build and run a simple Java application. That is our target. Okay. So let's do one thing. We'll modify this build.gradle file. See, Groovy DSL, Groovy domain specific language. Okay. So what I'll do, I'll go to my Gradle file and I'll just Control A and delete all of this. Not required. Okay. I'll show you from scratch everything. Go back to this manual and these are the things that I need, okay? We have plugins, we have repositories, we have dependencies and application. So, okay, I'll just copy them from here, need not worry. And because the numbers will also come, let me copy them, no problem. So I'll go to IntelliJ, go to the project and paste it here. Okay, numbers will be there guys, don't have to worry. What I'll do, I'll delete them. Okay, done. This is also done. Fine, this much. I will just reload this. You can see this reload button, right? I'll reload this. You can see there are no errors and you can see a green tick here. No problems found. Okay, so absolutely okay. So now what we can do is, if you see in the external libraries, I have got junit.jupyter and all these things are there. Okay, so no problem because I have written this dependency, it downloaded it from the Maven Central. We don't need that, right? So for the time being, let's go back to the manual and see that these things are there. Let it be like that. Okay, we are not bothered about that right now. What we are bothered about is running a file. Okay, see this guys. Application main class equal to com.example.int. Don't focus on all these things, okay? Just focus on this part. Application main class equal to com.example.main. Okay, so this we have to create main.java. Okay, src main java com.example. Here we have to create a file main.java. So I'll go back here to the project. src main, it is org.example. Okay, see my case org.example. So I'll just change it to org.example. org.example. If you have followed the manual, then you can write com.example, doesn't matter. And org.example.main. So in the main class here, I will just change this. I'll say hello world and sout, coders arcade and sout VTU expend 3. Okay, and sout, write my name and I'll say sout happy learning. Okay, this is the thing that I have here. Fine, till here. So it is org.example.main. Okay, here in the manual it is com.example.main. You need not worry. If you have a package called com, write com. Doesn't matter. Go back. Okay, and go back to the manual. Everything is done. This thing. Here some text is written. I have written some of my text, whatever I feel like. Fine. Then you can go to task, application and run. Okay. Go to task, application and run. Otherwise, you can run from the terminal this command Gradle run. Okay. So I'm going back to my project and you can see guys in the right hand side top corner, you have this Gradle icon. I'll click on this. You can see there's tasks and you can see in the application there is something called run. Double click on this and it's running. Can you see guys, this is the thing that I just printed, typed, correct? Hello world, Coders Arcade, DevOps VTU Experiment 3, Solve Sarkar, Happy Learning. Yeah, that is the Gradle run command that you can also run from the terminal. Okay, you can just say Gradle run like this. Press enter. Just wait for some time and yeah, it is evaluating everything. Yep. See guys, we got the same message here. Okay, that's how to simply run a code by using this application tag. Okay, the application block you can say, or the tag here you can run this like this. Main class, this is the main class. Okay, makes sense. Either you can double click here or from the terminal also you can do it. Okay, okay, so see It's dead easy when you understand and try to do it. Otherwise, it becomes very difficult. Now, next thing, what we will do, see, this part we understood how to run the Gradle run command. Next part is hosting a static website on GitHub pages. Now, this part is already, we know that. So what I'll do is, I'll go back to my earlier project that we had of my DevOps VTU Maven, go to this docs folder, or rather, I will directly copy this docs folder and go back to the other project. And here, I'll just paste it here in this project. Okay, let me close all these libraries, not required, not required, not required. And here I'll right click and paste this docs folder. Done. So here in this docs folder, I have index.html, logo.png, styles.css. Now I will deploy this into GitHub. Okay, so what I'll do, I'll go to my GitHub and I will create a new repository. So let me go and see what repository name I gave for the other one. Okay, I gave DevOps VTU MVN. So I'll create a new one and say this time it is DevOps VTU Gradle. Okay, I'll say this repo is for the DevOps VTU experiment number 3 Gradle. Okay, and let it be public, and I'll just create the repository. These part and all you already know, guys. So this is the URL that we got, this one. I'll copy this URL, go back to my project, and in the terminal I will open git bash here. Okay, drop down git bash, I'll say git init. Okay, initialize an empty repository. After that I'll say git add dot, I'll say git status. Let's take the status, everything okay. I'll say git commit -m, added the docs folder with HTML CSS logo for deployment. All done. Now I'll say git status, everything is fine. Now I'll say git remote add origin and copy and paste the URL here. Okay, so I'll right click and paste the URL here. Fine. So I'm adding my remote and the local. Press enter, no errors. Guys, if you are having confusion in what I'm doing, I suggest you all go to the previous videos in the playlist and learn from there and come back. Otherwise, it will be very difficult for you to follow. Okay, I told you, right? Every single time I'll be using all those commands. So make sure you have learned version control and get there are playlists dedicatedly in our YouTube channel. I'll go to that and show you. If I go here, if I go to our Coders Arcade YouTube and show you the DevOps VTU playlist, you can see here we have prerequisites, lab manual, SDLC, waterfall model, agile. Then we have a manual creation of Java project. What is version control? Then Git and GitHub. This is what we are doing right now. Okay, this is very important. So make sure you understand them and do it. Okay, please. Then only it will be easy for you to follow this thing. Okay. So I have added the origin and my remote and the local. Okay, now I'll say git push -u origin and which branch? My master branch. So I'll say master. Okay, press enter. Now all the code will be pushed to GitHub. Okay, done. Let's go back here and see. I'll go back, go to this and refresh. Amazing. All the code has come here. Fine. Everything has come here. We'll go to settings, go to pages and branch. My master branch, right? I'll select the master branch and obviously the docs folder. You already know this, right? Docs folder. And then save. Click on save. Just wait a moment and your site will be ready. Let's wait for that. I'll go to some other page and navigate back to this. By the time it will be ready. Okay, I'll go to repositories and go to Gradle and go to settings, go to the pages. It's still waiting. Let's see. Not done. Let's wait for some time more. By the time it should be deployed. Yeah, guys, done. See, so we have successfully deployed the same website here in this different repository. I'll just click on visit site. Let's wait a moment. Yep, you can see. Welcome to codesarcade.com. This is the website that we have. Okay, so successfully done with that part. Now let's go back to the manual. You can see this is optional, guys. If you want to follow that step number 2 to modify build.dribble, you can do it. Otherwise, you can leave it like that. After that, we committed and pushed to GitHub. After that, in the GitHub pages, we did that. All these things are there, and you can see your GitHub username dot repository name. This is how you can access the website. Okay, it is a static website. GitHub helps you to deploy static websites. That is what we have done. Now we will be testing the website. Okay, now we need to add these dependencies. What is that? We have Selenium dependency and we have testng dependency. Okay, so what I'll do, I'll just copy this, or rather I'll show you one more way how to do this actually. Okay, so go back to this. I will go to Maven Central repository, Maven repository, and just type Selenium Java. Okay, and press enter. Click on this Selenium Java, scroll down. Latest version is 4.31.0. Click on that. My build is Gradle now. I'll select Gradle. See this one, Gradle. I'll select. This is the code implementation like this. Okay, that is how we will be writing that. Okay, and the format. Okay, the format is Groovy. So I'll select Groovy, and Groovy long you can take like this, or Groovy short you can take. That is how you can take the Kotlin one also. Depends on what groove you have selected. Okay, based on that. Okay, you can copy. That is how you are copying this. Okay, not randomly doing from the manual. You should understand what is going on. Okay, this is one more syntax like this test implementation. Okay, so what we will do? I'll copy that from here and make some changes to this. Okay. So once you click on this, it gets copied. Let's select this one again. Take the short syntax and copy this. Copied. Go back to your IntelliJ. Minimize this. And dependencies. This I already have. I'll paste this here and I'll write like this. Okay. Test implementation, I capital L, right? Okay, I only implementation is also okay. So colon Selenium, this is the latest version, Java 4.28.1. Fine, absolutely okay. And testng version, let's remove this one. Jupyter I don't want. Okay, guys, here is a catch. Very important thing that I want to tell you. See here, in the dependencies, if you see in the external libraries, I have Jupyter. Okay, now I'm deleting Jupyter from here. And when I reload, see what happens. Magic. Wait and watch. It's loading and it's doing all the things. Now if you observe, Jupyter dependency is gone. Now we have Selenium here. Isn't that awesome? Whatever you don't want, just delete from here. Automatically from the external libraries also it will be deleted. Got it? That's the beauty of using a build tool, guys. That is why I have been stressing for this. That is why we should be using build tools, either Maven or Gradle. From the pom.xml, if you delete any dependency, it is automatically deleted from the external libraries also in case of Maven. In case of Gradle also, same thing happens. Okay, that's awesome, right? So similarly, you can copy the testng one. I'll copy from here. I already have it. So this is the one, and you can reload like this. Okay, and automatically the testng dependencies will be downloaded. If you see here, let me show you somewhere. It should be there. That has to be coming. Okay, it will come automatically. You don't have to see org.testng 7.4.0 the version. Always make sure you use the latest version. Okay, then there is one more thing, this one, test use testng. This one also you have to write. So I'll say the test block, this one test block, and here I'll say use testng, this one. This is the method. Got it? That is how you should write it. And the repository, we are using the Maven Central. From there it is downloading. Okay, I hope this is clear now. No problem at all. So this much is done. Now let's go back to our manual and see what we have after that. Write a test script, guys. You can copy this total test script. I'll copy the same as we had done in the experiment number 2 for Maven. Okay, that test script I'll copy. So I'll go back to the project. You can copy it from the manual. I already have it. So what I'll do, I'll just go to my src test. Let me minimize the dependencies so that I can show you that proper file. In Java, I'll create a new package called org.test. Okay, org.test. Okay, inside this, I will create a new Java class called web page test. Press enter, and no need to add to Git, we'll add that later. And I'll just paste it here, all the code that I have. Okay, and this and all I'll remove. I'll just this thing I'll remove the URL, and this annotations and all, I guess by now you already know what it is. So before the test, we are opening the browser, the Chrome browser. At the test, I am trying to check an URL. So what was the title in that URL? Let me show you here in the HTML file. This is the title, Coders Arcade CI/CD Learning. I'm copying that title from here and I'm pasting that title here. Okay, and then I'll just say title should contain paste, same thing. So we are validating whether the website page title is this or not by writing a simple Selenium code using the testng annotations. Okay, the annotations are before test, at the rate test, and after test. After the test, simple. We are waiting for 1 second and quitting the browser. That's all. Okay, makes sense? That's it. This thing I have already explained in the earlier one. So I need to pass the URL here. The URL is the URL where you just now deployed your website. This is the URL. Copy this URL, go back to your code and paste the URL here. Okay, this is the URL that we just got. Okay. So this is the steps. This whole code is given. You just have to change these parameters, guys. Nothing else. What we are doing, we are using Selenium, the Selenium tool, the web framework to automate websites, to validate websites. We deployed a website into GitHub pages. Now we are trying to validate and test that website with just trying to do a simple title validation, guys. Nothing else. Okay. After that, we are quitting the browser. You can see close browser. We're closing the browser. Thread.slip. After that, we are saying driver.quit. I've explained everything in detail in a playlist. I told you already, right? The playlist is the Selenium playlist. Okay. I've given you the link also. I'll give all the links in the description also, guys. Don't have to worry. Okay. Now let's get back here and let's go to the manual also and see what's written after that. After this done, run the test. See, we can go to task verification and test, or we can run Gradle test. And you can see I have written a comment. Sometimes it fails due to internal terminal issues. Let's try that here. If it works well and good, otherwise we'll use this button. Okay, that button that is given. This button. Here we have this icon of Gradle. Fine, we can do this here in the build steps. You can see all those are there. Got it? And in the build setup, we have this thing. In the distribution, we have this. Okay. These are the things that we have here that can be done. And you can see there are dependencies. All these things are there. And you have run configurations. All these things are there. Okay. So see here, I'll again mention, you go to task, verification and test. Okay. Let me show you here once again. I am just showing you the manual so that you can understand that, okay, everything can be followed from the manual only. So task, verification and test. You can double click on this and see this. It starts the test. It should open the browser also, guys. Let's see. Because we also have the dependencies, right? The Selenium dependency as a test ND dependency. It's waiting. Yeah, it opened the browser, waiting for 2 seconds, maximized, opened the URL, tested as well and validated. All good. You can see we got the output also. No problem at all. See, test passed 1 of 1, 16 milliseconds. Okay. This is how you do a simple automation testing using Selenium. Fine. Or guys, you can go to the terminal and type this command. Gradle test. Press enter. Let's see if it works or not. Because of terminal issues might not work, but in some cases it will work. Let's see. We're waiting for that. Yeah, it opened the browser, waited for that, opened the URL, tested it, and it successfully executed. Sometimes your terminal might not be configured properly, then you might not get it. In that case, you can easily go here in this icon, Gradle icon, and do it. Okay, from the task, verification and test. Okay, that's simple, guys. That's simple. I hope now you are getting a proper idea of this. And guys, one thing in between I will tell you. If you are liking the content, it won't take you long. Please hit the like button and please subscribe to the channel if you have not done that. Okay? And make sure you are sharing these videos to all who are learning DevOps, and especially to the students who are learning DevOps VTU Lab, also to some faculties who are actually working hard to understand the DevOps concepts. It's a new concept. It might be not easy for you to understand. That's okay. No problem. I'm helping you out. I'll help you out a lot. Don't worry. Okay, but please motivate me by subscribing and writing comments that you are liking the videos, understanding the concepts. That really helps me a lot to understand that, okay, my audience is trying to interact with me. That is more important to me. Okay, thank you for that. So let's go back and get started with the manual again. Now packaging a Gradle project as a jar file. We had done that in MVN package also. Remember in the experiment number 2, same thing we'll be doing here. Okay, see the plugins. We have ID Java, ID application. Let's go one by one. I'll go to the project. In the build.gradle, we have ID application already there. Now I'll write ID Java. Okay. Let's go back to the manual again. See, that is all fine. Now we have application com.examples.main. That is already there with us, right? We have done that. This is important. Jar, manifest, this thing we have to write. And this tells Java where to start execution. That part we have to write, okay? So I'll write that now. We are packaging the whole project, whatever you have written, the code into a jar file. That is our target, okay? Think like that. Now, in this, let's write down like this. So the syntax is something like this. We have jar, okay, and in the bracket, now we have manifest, attributes, main class, main hyphen class. See, same thing guys, whatever is written in the manual, that only I'm writing. Main class, com.example.main, okay. In my case, it is not com. If you see carefully, it is org.test. In this case, for the test, for the main, let's see what I have. I have org.example, right? Org.example, if you see carefully. This is the package. So go back to the build. I'll say org.example.main. That's all. And let's write this tells Java JVM actually to look where to look for the file. Okay. This is the syntax. Hope you understood this. Okay, I'll refresh this, reload this, and after that we have to run a command, the Gradle run command. Let's see. See here, first we have to do this Gradle jar for packaging, and after that we have to run just like we ran the jar file command like this. And here, very important thing, I'll go back to my Maven project to show you. Remember, when we use the mbn package command, we got the jar file inside the target folder like this, DevOps VTU Maven 1.0 snapshot.jar. In case of the Gradle project, let's see what happens. Now this is fine. I'll go to the terminal and I'll say Gradle jar, press enter. No errors, nothing. Let's go back. Automatically you will see that there is a folder created called build. Inside that libs we have this file. Okay, please remember this. Now if you want, we need to run that file to see whether this code is getting executed or not, right? This code, hello world, this thing. So I'll close all this. Let me close all this and do one thing. We'll go to a terminal and here I'll write java space -jar and the folder is inside build. So I'll say dot slash, dot is the current directory, then build slash, it is inside libs slash, is it libs or lib? It is libs only. Okay. So slash, I'll say the name of the jar file, dev, press a tab. Automatically you got this, see. So press enter, bingo. See here, you got hello world, Codus Arcade, DevOps VTU, Experiment 3, Saurabh Sarkar, happy learning. Okay, that is how you run this. Hope you have understood this. Make sense? So that is how you can simply package the code into a jar file and run it using the java space -jar command. Make sense? Okay. So we have already done that. We got the output like this. Great. We are doing great, guys. So let's go next and try to understand this. Let's, just like the Maven lifecycle, we have the Gradle lifecycle and commands. Okay. If you want to initialize a Gradle project, we use the Gradle init command. That will be done in experiment number 4 when you are actually converting one Maven project into Gradle project. Okay, that we'll see there, don't worry. After that, compile. Gradle build will compile the code, check everything, test everything. Okay, Gradle run will run the application, and Gradle clean will clean old build files. Suppose you have written lots of code again, and after that you were using the Gradle clean command, old build files or DAL files will be deleted and it will clean and it will create a new build so that everything is fresh. Okay. Then just now you saw this Gradle test to run the tests. We successfully saw that just now. And the Gradle jar. Gradle jar is to package the project into a jar file. A very small file. Executable file. That is done using the java space -jar command. Okay. And this one we already saw, git push origin main. That is totally regarding the Git and GitHub thing. Okay. Now, talk about the life cycles again. So, because we have understood all of this properly, Gradle build life cycle. Okay. Initialization phase we have. So, here it determines which projects are part of the build because there can be multi-project builds, right? That's why. After that, it creates the instance of each project. For example, we can use the Gradle help command to check that. Okay. Then there is something called configuration phase. If you want to add any tasks that you can do by using the Gradle tasks. Okay, and execution phase is where you actually build your project. So whatever tasks, you can even do it sequentially. Okay, if you have some task of copying files, adding files, etc., that can be done using the Gradle build. Okay, and see here the key tasks and commands are given: clean, compile, package, test, run application, dependency resolution, parallel execution. Don't have to worry about all of that, but we have discussed most of the commands. Nobody will ask you right now about parallel executions, so you need not worry about that. Suppose you are having lots of tests, T1, T2, T3, T4.java, you can run all of them parallelly together using the guild build parallel. Okay, Gradle build minus minus parallel. That is also possible. Okay, so this is how the life cycle is visualized. You can see initialization, configuration, execution, project setup, task loaded, task executed. Very simply explained here. Okay, that is how you can explain this in the interview also. Three processes: initialization, configuration, execution, setup, loaded, and executed. Okay, so Gradle is very flexible, but it supports multiple languages. That is one advantage of Gradle. Okay, you can see, unlike Maven, Gradle allows on-demand task execution rather than following a strict lifecycle. In case of Maven, we have to follow a sequence. Gradle does not follow a sequence. That is one benefit of this. Okay, and you can see Gradle is powerful because it only executes what's necessary. That is why the builds are faster. That is the reason it says it is faster. Okay, and it supports parallel execution for larger projects, and it gives developers more control over task execution. Okay, that is most important thing that you have to know about Gradle. And you can see these are the differences between Maven and Gradle that you can learn properly, especially for students and lecturers who are actually giving lectures, and also students who are preparing for technical interviews, and also for the Viva rounds where externals will come from different colleges and ask you questions. Okay, so make sure you understand them properly. You can learn about this. I've given a lot of detail about all the differences that you can do it. Okay, so this is how it works. Now, most important thing, which one should you use, Maven or Gradle? So here it is. Use Maven if you need stability, structured build, and easier learning curve. If your learning curve is easy, that means if you want to keep it simple, you can go with Maven. And Gradle is used if you want faster builds, better performance, and flexibility for complex projects. So if you have very simple projects, always recommend to use Maven. If you have very complex, in-detail projects, go for Gradle. As simple as that. Okay? I hope you understood this, guys. Fine. Now, for the next part 2, we'll be using the Kotlin DSL. That we'll be doing later. Okay? In the next part. Don't worry about that. For the time being, guys, I hope you have liked this video and you have understood all of it. If you have any doubts regarding this, make sure you comment your doubts in the comment section. I'll be very happy to clarify them. And at the same time, if you really like this video, if you're liking the content, what is stopping you from subscribing, guys? I don't know why you are not subscribing. I can see lots of people coming, liking, but not subscribing. Please subscribe, guys. That motivates me a lot to create more content. That is the least you can do, okay? So till the next time, guys, this is Saurabh signing off. Bye-bye and happy learning. Thank you.